Friday. Happy Friday to you all. Thank God it's Friday. So today I'm here to just chat with you very quickly on good moral character. So if you're trying to apply for naturalization, that if you want to become a U.S. citizen, you would need to establish good moral character. And depending on how long you've held your green card, that's when the statutory period will be counted. So, for example, for people who are spouses of U.S. citizens who are eligible for naturalization 3 years after becoming green card holders, the statutory period for establishing good moral character is 3 years. So it starts right from when you obtain your green card up until when you take your allegiance that says that you want to, you are promising to be a good US citizen or whatever. And then for people who have held their green cards for 5 years, they need to establish that they have been people of good moral character for 5 years. So the time period depends. And then there are two types of bars. There's the conditional bar and then there's a permanent bar. With a conditional bar, these are things that you can these are like little offenses. For example, if you're a habitual drunkard, if you do not support your dependents, as in you have little children and you're not paying child support, if you have extramarital affairs, all these things go against you when you are establishing good moral character for the purposes of naturalization. But when it comes to the conditional bars to good moral character, there are two: murder and then aggravated felony. Aggravated felony involves crimes like rape and then sexual abuse of a minor. And so when they're looking at the requirements of the good moral character, usually the adjudicator or the officer would look at the statutory period. And as I said, it's usually 5 years preceding your application for U.S. citizenship or 3 years preceding your application for U.S. citizenship. However, the adjudicator or the officer is not only limited to look at those periods, they are also entitled to go beyond those periods if your character before then would have a bearing on your character now, or would have some sort of telling, or that would help them decide if you're a person of good moral character. And so when they're looking at that, then they would be, when they're adjudicating all this, they look at the totality of the circumstances. So they'll check to see whether there has been any reformation by you, and whether there have been extenuating circumstances. How have you reformed since then? What are you doing that can overcome the bars of saying that you are not a person of good moral character. So all these are very important in establishing that you are a person of good moral character. So essentially, you don't get involved in crimes that involve moral turpitude. These are like crimes that sort of just for example, if you defraud somebody or you commit petty theft, all these things go to speak against the fact that you are somebody who has good moral character. Also, there are a few things they would look at. There are a few factors that are relevant when they are assessing your moral character and the fact that you've reformed or not. They look at your family ties, your background, your education, your employment history, your community involvement, your credibility. Okay, credibility, yeah. The length of time in the US and other law abiding behavior. And so other law abiding behavior means, are you paying your taxes? Are you meeting financial obligations? Because, for example, you don't go and buy a mobile phone on credit, and then when it's time for you to pay, you start playing games with the company. And so all these things go to speak for or against you in establishing that you have good moral character or otherwise. So don't forget to be on your very best behavior, because establishing good moral character is a very key component of U.S. immigration law, and it's even very helpful in court proceedings when you're in court, immigration court, for deportation or whatever. All these things are very helpful. And also remember, with President Joe Biden's reform, they're going to assess whether undocumented people would be eligible to obtain temporary legal status. This may be a component. I don't know. We don't know yet, but it always helps. Just watch your steps, watch where you're going, watch what you're doing. Watch what you're doing, and then just make sure that when it's time for any type of assessment, you will not be disqualified because of doing one thing or the other. The element of good moral character is it's quite complicated, and there are lots of permutations. It can get very complex because there are just strategies to overcome some of the bars, and there are certain things that are calculations. There are just so many calculations. So if you have any concern about any crime or anything that you've been involved in, please, as always, I recommend that you speak with your attorney. And if you don't have one, I'm here. I'm ready to be hired. Just give my office a call on 240-801-7288. My name is Akua. I can't wait to speak with you. Take care. Bye.